This is Mason from League News coming to you live from Zolandra, where we've been speaking with locals about a new initiative to bring newcomers to fight off Zulrah. Here's one now. We feed snake magic tridents. Fascinating. Back to you, Mason. Thank you, Mason. Wow, it really does look like Kandarin might actually be dead. And if you haven't picked up on it yet, that's because Leagues has a lot of bosses like Zulrah that are dropping completed items instead of just the components. So the Magic Fang is now just an uncharged Toxic Trident. You don't have to go to Kandarin and fight Kraken and get a Trident and then attach the Magic Fang. It's just one thing from Zulrah now. I mean, you of course could pick Kandarin and go to Kraken, but like, look at how this region is looking. This is not the best that you could be doing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and go in order through the regions and talk about some of these items that are going to be there just for one, for general planning. So you can go, oh yeah, this region has that. That's helpful. Maybe I'll pick that. But for two, what changes from this? And here's a spoiler. Some of these change a lot. Starting with Misthalin and Kourend, these are regions that everyone has. And this isn't necessarily something that's like a crazy change. I think most people just weren't sure where this is going to be, and that's that tormented demons are available here. They're available to everyone, and you can automatically craft the synapse into whichever of the weapons you want. There is another League's timeline where you would have had to pick the desert so you can get the dark light, and then you would have had to pick Kourend so you can get the arc light, and then you would have picked whatever region to get the quest done so you could actually go get the synapse and then make the ember light. But you don't have to do desert, you don't have to do Kourend. Right off the bat, just with Misthalin, you can now get the ember light, which is going to be massive. All three of the weapons are going to be massive if you're fighting some demons like the Asgarnia bosses, like Cerberus or Krill in the God Wars. Which again, if you had to pick Kourend and the desert, you may have not even been able to have room to pick Asgarnia to do this. So very cool that this is how they're setting it up, especially for this item in particular. But what about some other items? Let's look at the next region. And just by going in the order they had it laid out, I'm going to go to the desert next. And there's something that I had heard people say before, but I don't think I ever saw an official confirmation until literally just now. And that's that if you pick one raid, here being Tombs of a Masket, you actually can get access to all three of the mega rares. So you can get the Twisted Bow and the Scythe just from picking desert. Now, I don't know how you're gonna charge the Scythe. I don't know what's up with that. I'm assuming this is not like, they're not trolling. I'm assuming there's actually a way to use it if you pick a region that isn't Morytania, but that is massive. You really only have to focus on one raid now. Obviously the other items you might want, so Desert, Missouri, Chambers and Ancestral, Theater of Blood, and Justice Year. Everyone loves Justice Year. That's why you're going there, right? I'll probably talk about it more on the Morytania one, but that does actually have kind of an effect on if you're going Morytania or not. The next big thing, if we look at the Leviathan, is they've changed the way the Desert Treasure 2 bosses work. You don't have to have the desert to fight them. And you can actually feasibly get the Soul Reaper axe. All the bosses will drop all the parts in order. You just have to keep fighting them until you get them all. And they also automatically drop their upgraded rings, which is going to be really helpful if you're not picking Fremennik, because the Fremennik Echo boss is already going to have a better ring anyway. So that helps alleviate not picking Fremennik a fair bit depending on your style. Now on to Morytania. You don't have to pick Asgarnia to get these boots, which is really nice because it's not like it was an insane upgrade that you really wanted to pick two regions for. So that's just a nice little like freebie that you can get, especially because you probably would already went with the Primordials if you were picking Asgarnia. So now you can actually get something from Morytania for the boots, which is fun. And if Kandarin wasn't already looking bad enough, I talked about Zulrah at the beginning. Now, you don't have to pick Kandarin to actually get the necklace upgrade from Araxor as well. which this is actually just a joke from the J-mods. Like, they are taking everything from Kandarin. It's crazy. And then, of course, you have the Theater of Blood, where you can get all of the Mega Rares. And the big thing here, you do not need Asgarnia, because the Defender, it's not just the hilt, it actually gives you the Defender itself. It's a completed thing. I wonder if it's tradable, or are they giving you an untradeable item right off the bat? I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't trade as an Iron Man anyway, but that's just a weird, like, I wonder how they coded it. Anyway, let's look at Kourend. So, Alchemical Hydra has 3 whole items that you can get here now that you don't have to go anywhere else to do. You don't need the Zami Spear. You don't have to go sit and do a Vorkath and get his dumb little necklace. Not that you even really necessarily want to wear this necklace anyway. Depending on your regions, you might, but it's not the craziest upgrade. But all 3 of these items drop not as components, but as the actual items, which is really cool. And then at Chambers, of course, you have the 3 Mega Rares. But then you don't have to go to Desert. You don't have to do your stupid mage training. Which, after doing that last year, I don't think I want to do Desert. Because of things like that, having to, like, get points squirking and all this content that just I'm kind of tired of doing. So I am glad that they're giving me another reason to not have to pick the Desert. I can still get a Kodai and have some fun. This one's going to be short because I already covered it at the beginning, but Tirannwn, Zulrah is now giving you the Uncharged Toxic Trident, or as it's also called, Trident of the Swamp. I actually don't know which one is the official name, because it says both on the wiki. Someone let me know. I lied, this is the shortest one, the Wildy. As is, it's perfect. Now, Fremennik doesn't have a lot of changes, but it's kind of a fun change, because it structures it in, like, a way that gives you an easy upgrade path. Like, you can kind of start out at Dagonoth Kings and get your crappy little ring, and eventually make your way to Duke and get your upgraded ring that you don't need the components for, and then you can whip on back to the Echo Dagonoth Kings and get the even bigger upgrade. You get 3 ring upgrades throughout the process of going through Fremennik, and that's kind of neat. Also, you can get all the axe pieces just from Duke. Nah, we don't need to talk about this one. Asgarnia actually has the weirdest changes in my opinion. They're like actually being kind of tough on you if you pick this region. I get it. Like, this is one of the biggest images on here. It's tied with Wildy and has way more valuable drops from each individual boss than Wildy does. Half of Wildy's table is literally just like the same few items over and over and over and over. Like, a lot of them have the dragon pickaxe, or like, this is one piece of the shield. This other boss has the other piece. Whereas there's a lot of actual uniques here. So like, I kind of get it. I'm not going to be too hard on them. But like, Cerberus has where you can get the nice little mage boot upgrade right off the bat. You can get that. No more desert. Desert stocks going down. But they're not giving you anything else. You still have to go and get your boots and upgrade them. You got to do your clue scrolls. You got to go to God Wars and grab your dragon boots. And you have to manually combine that stuff. Which is, I get it. I think it's still like fun. I'm not saying this as a Asgarnia picker, by the way. It would not change my opinion on whether I wanted to pick the region or not if I had to go get those boots. But I'm just saying, like, you could have given it to everyone. But whatever. And then there's the Whisperer, which will give you the upgraded ring and all the axe pieces. And then we're closing it out with Varlamore. You can actually get some pretty decent boots here. You don't need the Guardian boots anymore. You can just grab the Echo boots, fully upgraded, assuming you actually make it through the Colosseum and are able to grab that. Though, I don't think you have to be on some insane wave to get the Echo crystals, so that might actually be pretty good, like early. You might be able to get that within a reasonable amount of time playing through leagues, so that's really fun. And then something that I didn't see confirmed before, I don't think they had this in any official postings, but Vardorvis has been moved from Kourend to Varlamore. I don't know what the whole rationale behind all that is. I don't feel like it's super out of place. It's just that's not where he was before. And Just like all of the Desert Treasure 2 bosses, his ring is now upgraded and you can get all of the axe pieces. So you can bop in 4 different regions. You don't have to synergize between them at all. You can completely ignore them. You do not need to have a single overlap between these bosses if you don't want to. But I do need you to subscribe even if you don't want to. It's very important. It will help me out so much. Pretty please. Why don't you want to? Anyway, but by the way, why don't you want to? What's up with that? You should tell me about that in the comments, and you should also tell me, how much is this thrown off your region picks? Is everything changed? Does this change everything? For me, I'm still doing the same exact regions that I wanted to in day 1 because I made such a good plan, or I'm stupid and stubborn. I don't know. We'll find out.